Northwest police officers whose charred remains were found in the back of a burnt police bakkie last week. It was underway in Lichtenburg. As you can see, the police minister, Bheki Cele, is about to address the media. Let's listen in.
Okay, second question there, Tata.
For the SABC, could you just begin just painting the way that you speak about the police having better skills to deal with victims by criminal elements and communities having to work together to fight these criminal elements?
Okay, and the last one, yes?
Yes, there was an incident in the south of Mandela area where a 17-year-old girl faced a kidnapping. So what sort of consequences is she prone to face?
Okay.
Well, the restructuring of the police, it doesn't come to an end. The restructuring goes with the demands of that particular time. For instance, the question of specialized policing is what is taking place continually and continuous going forward. For instance, the public order policing seems to be the core at the present moment, dealing with the problems that the community now and again experience in terms of protest. So we need to have a public order policy. Also instructed by Falam, a commission after the Marikana. What people haven't taken much on the protest and the riots we had. People that died, who happened to be about 325 in the country, we are still establishing, but we find that very, very few, if any, that died in the hands of the police. Before, there would have been a lot of people died in the hands of the police. So that's part of what we are trying to implement, to say while the Constitution instructs us to protect, to combat criminality and all, and enforce the law, but it also instructs the police to save the lives. So that's one thing that have police tried to do with the previous riots that have taken place in the country. Exactly when the restructuring will finish, I can't say will end here. We'll keep going and until we perfect the system, which it goes with the times, is proportionality to the times, what I was supposed to do. Maybe that links with the question that I raised of the question of technical acumen, technical awareness of the police. The way these two officers were killed, I guess we could have done better. The police need to be kind, need to be very careful that the ordinary South Africans, when they protest, the students' fees must fall. The communities, when they protest for water, for electricity, we must use a very minimum kind of force on that one. But when police realize criminality, when police realize organized crimes, and you realize that these are organized criminals who do not carry the broomsticks, who do not carry the feather dust, who are prepared to eliminate and kill whoever coming on their way, they must be aware of that. And the law allows them to say, when you go to Section 49 Criminal Procedure Act, when the life of the officer is in danger, the police is allowed to use a deadly force in protection of the citizen, innocent citizen, or himself. That's awareness. They must be able to separate between the danger that they are facing, also separate to say they need to take care of the community, and there should be less or zero death of the communities in the hands of the police. But also, there should be zero death in the hands of the criminals. Police die in the hands of the criminals because they are aware. So that's what we are saying when we say there should be the technical awareness of the South African police so that they don't die in the hands of the criminals.
Okay, I think, is there any other questions that you would like to ask? Maybe another three?
Just one more question for our dear Premier. Premier, we've seen quite a number of developments in the past few days with a notice coming from your office that MEC for Human Settlement Friday has been set aside on some leave. But we saw a statement coming from his very department saying that he's not aware of that communication from you.
Well, let me just confirm that in line with the Constitution, I did instruct the MEC to go on special leave, and that will be the case until circumstances require the next action.
Sorry, the light went off. Okay, oops. Whilst we are waiting for the lights to be back on.
I confirm that that is so. And as I say, that is in line with the Constitution, the performance and execution of duties as prescribed at provincial level. And the situation will be revisited at an appropriate time, depending on what performance is like within the course of service delivery in the province.
If I may, not to create a conversation, developments in the Human Settlement Department are very important for us because we have seen some shortcomings in the provision of housing to many communities in our province. Notably, you see the community that was illegally evicted from a farm in Ventersdorp. Despite government's promise to have them moved out by the end of June, they remain sitting in that hall in Ventersdorp. When will we see the conclusion or finalization of the temporary housing units that have been set up for them in the farm that is said to have been bought for them?
Well, certainly, I agree with you that we are under immense pressure across the country, across the province, with regard to providing housing in line with government policy. And the specific matter that you refer to is one of those critical performance areas that I am prioritizing attention to.
There was one question about the communities. Maybe let me take the opportunity to thank the police for having responded quickly here to arrest these 5 suspects that have murdered our officers. They couldn't have done that without the assistance of the communities who did provide the information, but the follow-up done by the police. As you all know, that we have got a policy of 72 hours turnaround. By the time that happened, we have long arrested those people. But also, we just want to call to ordinary communities and the families to say one of the person arrested is a father and a son. And you can't have such a situation in the community. Doesn't come on board to say, but you can't teach your son to be a criminal at the age of 16. We're glad that they are in. They haven't given the bail, except the 16-year-old. And we believe that will be assisted by the prosecution to throw the key away, because one of them, we believe, is a habitual kind of stock theft, as was carrying this stock with about 18 goats, was from court to face another charge of stock theft. So we do have that problem here in Northwest. That's a call we're making to say to communities, you know them, work with the police on those, and don't allow this criminality to grow and be part of the communities. Say no, and communities should not be part of the criminality.
I think let's just give chance for another 3 questions, then we wrap up.
Okay, about the unrest, Minister, are you happy as the police with the investigations, and are all the instigators being arrested? And also referring to the report that you gave to Parliament last week, the portfolio committee, that you said that you did not receive a tip-off from the state security, but the state security is saying that they gave you the report. What do you have to say about that?
What I have to say about that is what I've said, and I will end there. Because for the facts to say, you know what I said, you stay with it. It's exactly what I said. And I'm not going to add or subtract on what I have said. The arrest is continuing. Police seems to be doing very, very well. Yesterday, they arrested one guy with about 19 gadgets who has been running this propaganda, and I'm told happened to be a secretary of one region or of one branch of the ANC who has been running this thing. So police are beginning to do very well. I'm sure you have seen that they arrested one advocate, a certain advocate, I. Kumalo. They've said they've arrested one guy who calls himself Nkinga, who seems to be the key on this investigation. But they are expanding. More and more people will be expected. We expect more prominent people, even within the political circles, to be arrested. Those are instigators. But generally, about 4,000 people have been arrested, and there's been a special arrangement made by the Department of Justice so that those people can be taken through the processes to the prosecution. Sadly, we have lost life of more than 300 people. Most of them died in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, especially in the region of eThekwini. Those people, most of them, died in the hands of other looters, either Stampede, but I guess the most infamous one everybody knows will be the Phoenix problem, where unfortunately it took the posture of racism in Phoenix. We're glad that police have responded there. 22 people have been arrested, appearing in court for killing those people. They've had good police have good operations where 112 illegal firearms have been found almost in a week or 1.5, and 152 firearms have been taken from 4 private security companies who have been very much involved in kind of misbehavior. Police and SIRA, they are working to investigate those private security companies. If we find that they broke the law, we know what to do. You arrest those people, shut down those companies. But we are glad also that the communities themselves, the committee that was put there, seems to be working well to restore the relationships of the communities around there. There are other areas that we're looking at where there is this kind of racial problem, like your Chatsworth and one in Maritzburg. Anybody who fakes his death, his kidnap, is a criminal. So as we find that person, it's unfortunate that is another thing that is increasing now, that people, they are faking their own kidnapping. There was very permanent one about 4 weeks ago in the late in Johannesburg that said was in the boot and all that, and she could not account to the boyfriend where she was, and then they tell the story to say that you are kidnapped or you are raped and all that. So making a call not to do that is a serious thing, is one area where the police are working very hard. So if people do things and fake kidnapping and all that kind of thing, I think the law will have to be very harsh on them.
Maybe second last question? Are you done? We are done. Thank you, Minister. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
We're up here now. Thank you.
Right, the police minister there, Bheki Cele, at the funeral of 2 Northwest police officers there, and just taking some questions from the media with regards to various other issues, but talking about something, as he termed it, as technical awareness of police, and he says that the way that the 2 police officers were killed, we could have done better. And he was talking about how police needs to, respect the community and do their job. But when the life of an officer is in danger, police are allowed to use deadly force. And he went on to explain as to the circumstances and the perimeters in which this needs to take place. With regard to those 2 police officers, he was saying that 5 suspects have been arrested, and it couldn't have done it without the assistance of community members, calling for this greater relationship between community and police. With regards to the unrest, saying that more prominent people, and he mentioned some in maybe political circles, are expected to be arrested soon. And he also, towards the end, talking about people who fake their death or kidnapping are criminals. So we will touch base with our reporter, Sintling Dehihi, in a short while. She's live for us. They will get more context with regards to what the police minister has just said. It is 11 o'clock on the dot. Let's get a check on your headlines.